Okay. Okay. Good morning, everybody. This is Tuesday, June 9th, 11 a.m., 11:08 a.m. And this is the Housing Subcommittee for ASDAC. So welcome, everyone. And uh, I'm calling the meeting to order. And let's take a look at the minutes from our May 12th meeting. And if I can have a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
I have a question, Tara, about the minutes. Did Lynn join very briefly at the end of
Oh,
our
yes,
last
she did.
meeting?
Yes.
Okay. So she probably needs but I mean, I know it was only very brief at the end, but I know she
Yes.
was there a little bit.
So I can update that so we
Okay.
can approve as amended.
Approve as amended. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Motion to approve as amended.
And now I will approve it.
Okay. Thank you, Terry. Okay. And a second.
I know Christine's driving, so she may
Oh,
not be able to come off mute and
okay.
I can second that.
Okay,
Okay.
thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you, Christine.
You're welcome.
Okay. All righty. So now we are working on continuing our conversation on the survey questions. So would it be best to share screen to go over where we are?
I can do that. Yep.
Okay.
Um, there you go. Can you see that okay? Right.
Yes.
I think we had gotten through the survey goal, and that was amended. And then we were developing the questions. Do you want me to scroll down to the bottom where we stopped or kind of run through? I can also, if you want, I can drop the link in the chat. You guys should be able to open that as well. If it's easier to kind of scroll through on your own.
Mhm. It's also the same link in the documents section, correct? Of the
Yep.
the thread.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And Toby had emailed and offered, and said, should I get this started in the I'm trying to remember.
Qualtrics, I think she said. Does she have
What was it?
Qualtrics?
Walter.
Qualtrics?
Okay. And so
Mhm.
she had offered to uh get that going and uploaded if we liked the language that we are taking a look at. So I think what would probably be helpful is to go through and just kind of take a look at the questions unless people have another suggestion, but that's what I was thinking might be helpful.
Okay.
So, how do you identify number one? Because we're on section one, number one.
Yep.
Um, and then Toby said we may want to add some conditional questions based on role. Uh, but I don't know what that means in terms of conditional questions. Um,
Yeah, I don't know either. So
mm,
I just sent her the meeting link to make sure because I know yesterday she asked me to confirm the time. So I sent her that. Oh, she's in the waiting room.
oh,
There you
okay.
go.
Yeah, because then I have another question about what is your age? Because wouldn't it be I was wondering if it was the age, or I guess we're looking, um,
Or
or,
the age of the individual you support.
or, yeah, right, because I'm thinking like in terms of if you answer that as a family member, or if you answer it as a service providers, so that one might need the ability to check all that apply. Because I know for someone like me, if I was filling that out, I would need to check off the 18 to 25, 26 to 40, 41 to 60, and 60 plus. Like I would need to check off all of those. So I think we need to make sure that one has check all that apply, has a check all that apply option.
I don't
Sorry, I'm
know if
late.
That's okay.
that's
That's
okay.
no
I
problem,
don't
Toby.
know if check all that apply is going to get to
Right.
Oh, okay.
the
Is
yeah,
this
I
the individuals with disabilities survey, or are we talking about the support provider or community partner?
right now we're just going to run through the individual survey. We talked about doing a secondary one for parents and caregivers. So if that's the case, then we could
Okay.
just eliminate, that it would go to a different survey.
It would. We could handle that on the back end so that we don't have to have a funky worded question like this. I understand what you're trying to say. You're trying to like create responses regardless of who's answering the survey, but I think it's cleaner if we
Have multiple
Yeah.
well, we
surveys.
have multiple and yeah, and then the nice thing about the software is based on how they identify the proper question will come up.
Mhm. It's kind of like a
Oh,
data entry. Like if you click
Right.
one,
oh,
it goes down that path, but if you click another, it goes down
Yes.
that path.
that's amazing. It has the ability to do that, huh?
Oh
That's
yeah,
okay.
that's
That's
yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, we
Okay.
can take care of that stuff. I think the key
Oh,
thing, and I'm so sorry I'm late. I think the key is going to be making sure that we have questions that apply to all four groups, or however
yes.
many versions we decide we really need that's in our scope of what we really feel like we need. But
Okay.
we have questions we can compare across respondents, and then we have questions that may be unique to respondent type.
Right. So the what is your age, I would think would be for autistic individual. And I don't know if we want to ask parents and caregivers their age, if that's important data that we need to know how old some of the caregivers are at this point.
I'm for getting some demographic information by all respondents. You
Okay.
know,
Okay.
I don't know how
Then,
other people feel, but we don't want to make it an exhaustive survey, but the demographics will tell us something, and it's anonymous, and we're not going to
Mhm.
capture
Right.
names or anything. And some of these, they don't, we don't have to require them to answer the question. They could skip it, but if they're willing to answer, it would be nice
Hmm.
to know.
Okay. Okay. Then yes. So then what is your age? What is your current living situation.
Maybe there's a way that we can mark at this point which ones would be
I
either
was thinking
solid
that too.
housing
Do,
or
Yeah.
do
something.
we want to say?
Otherwise, it's just going to
Yeah.
be
I
a lot.
think that up here we did title it individual
Yeah.
survey.
Yeah.
So I would say going through these questions first, I would look at this as the for the person who selected autistic individual.
Right. Yeah.
And then when we go, then we can do a tree out to um caregiver and see which questions we want to copy
Okay,
paste for
so
Yeah.
those sections.
does question one apply in the individual survey then?
Yes, that's what
We want to
you
know
would do.
that.
You would start with question one, and then based on how they answer, it would tree out to the
Oh, I
caregiver
see.
survey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All righty. Okay.
Can you
And
just bold the first bullet, autistic individual, so we know that it's this survey's just for that group, but then we know that there are going to be some other
okay.
data
And
data collection.
so, right, what is your age, current living situation, uh, current housing experience? What challenges do you currently face with housing?
I think that's a
Um,
tough question for someone to interpret the way it's worded.
Hmm.
right. So I agree. I think it needs to be changed. I think it needs to
Ha-
be more
I,
straightforward.
I think it needs to be something like, what, if anything, is, preventing you from, I'm spitballing,
Hmm.
this, but is preventing you from accessing or living independently or accessing
Yeah.
housing that would allow you to live more independently or something of that nature.
Hmm.
So it's just sort
Hmm.
of conditional, but it is perhaps a little bit more understandable for folks.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because if someone asked me the question, what challenges do you currently face with housing? I would be like, well, no one cleans up after themselves.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
I wish someone
Yeah.
would mow my lawn, that sort of thing. But
It's true.
And I had um put into one of the documents an article that I had read the other day about what accessible housing means.
Mhm.
And it says physical access, getting in, moving through hallways, using bathrooms and kitchens, communication access, knowing when a smoke alarm, doorbell, or phone is alerting, sensory access, lighting, sound levels, clear wayfinding cues. And then he then broke it down into accessible features, adaptable housing, and universal design. And accessible features make the home usable now. He said, gave examples like grab bars, roll-in shower, or stair lift. Adaptable housing, a home that is built or chosen with future modifications in mind. Example, enough bathroom space for a wheelchair turning radius, even if it's not needed today. And then universal design, homes make homes easier to use for as many people as possible, such as like no step entry.
I think for current housing experience, we want to know what their housing is now. Like,
Hmm.
are they living at home with their parents? Are they living in a facility?
Hmm.
Like I think we want to know their
We
current
have that
housing.
right here. What is your current
Perfect.
living
Thanks.
situation?
Yep, I
Yep.
came in
Hmm.
late. Sorry.
Hmm. Okay.
Do we want to say what? And again, we've talked about kind of the range of and the complication with even what living independently means. Like it means living independently is like saying living in the community, or what we mean by inclusion. There's very different things. So do we want to say um,
Living
living
in the
in the
community.
community?
Yeah.
In
Hmm.
the
Um,
living independently in the community.
yeah, but like some people will perceive, well, I still need support. I can't be totally independent. So maybe
I
maybe
know.
that can be part of the primer underneath the title, we can say, for purposes of this survey, you know, we're and again, it has to be in plain language and everything, but we could say we're interested in promoting opportunity for people to live in the community with the supports that they need and supports and services that they need, or something like that, just so they understand. Again, we'll have to test this and, run it by people to see if they understand the constructs that we're talking about for construct validity. But um, different people interpret things differently. For example, I just have to say this because it reinforces the point that we've made every time we've met. One of the housing organizations, it's New Hampshire Gives, right? Just like I think Connecticut has a Connecticut Gives or whatever. So New Hampshire Gives just launched, and this housing group was on the news over the weekend, and they're all over social media right now trying to raise money, and they have all these videos talking about, raising money for this house that they're going to have 11 different people with disabilities living in together. It's by all intents and purposes what I would consider a group home, reinventing the group home. And they have all the individuals who want to live there pitching on social media saying, please donate to us. For example, most people, go to school, they graduate, they might go to college, they might get a job. I haven't been able to do that because I don't have housing. And then it's just they contradict themselves in the same like pitch they're making to the public about why they need this. They're contradicting themselves. So it's just it's an odd situation. And I know it's the right fit for some people. Some people prefer that, some parents prefer it or whatever, but it's just, it's like, well, why can't you just go live in an apartment building that gives you the supports that you want?
Mm.
It's just, I sorry, I have a thing about this, as you can tell. I don't need to repeat myself about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I added a little thing up under section 1. I was trying to take some notes, Toby, as you were speaking. Um, so I had written, for purposes of this survey, we are interested in learning about your needs around living in the community with whatever supports are needed for you to live as independently as possible.
Hmm.
Does that?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're gonna keep sort of tweaking, but yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we
I
don't have
just
to
wanted to,
wordsmith everything. Yeah. Right.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
just wanted
yeah,
to
it's
get it
capture the
down,
spirit. Yeah.
just get it down for now. And
Yeah.
then, okay. And then, so is there anything else in number 4 then of things that we could think of? And I like that we're putting in an other in case there are situations we're not thinking of. Um, what is preventing you from living in the community of your choice with the supports you need?
Let's see.
So we have cost and affordability, limited housing options that are available, safety concerns, sensory environment, meaning noise, lighting, etc., lack of support services, aging parents, caregivers, access to reliable transportation, access to social opportunities, and other.
What about choice? Like, there are a lot of people that parents don't want them necessarily to move out on their own.
Mm, okay.
Control, choice or control to move. That might be a hot topic, but there's a lot of perpetual parenting that goes on and
So I'm wondering how
risk
we could,
aversion.
yeah, I'm wondering how we could phrase that so that folks will um
Ability to make my own decision to move, or
that's exactly what I was just thinking of. Yes, yes. Um,
I don't know if we want to use the word guardianship or guardian or conservator. I don't know. What do other people think about that?
yeah, something like I am not the only person who decides if I move.
I'm not in charge of my own decisions. I don't know. Did Carrie leave? I think she hopped off, right?
I see her muted
Oh,
for
she'll
a
be back.
moment. Yeah, and no video, right?
if I could just make a comment, I think, depending on the situation, I mean, listen, ladies, on my in my own world, I'm thinking about for my son, like an in-law apartment set. Like there are things we're already thinking about planning for our future. So, but also a lot of it depends on guardianship situations. So I think it's valid to have, a question to the effect of, and what does that mean to be in charge of your own, in charge of your own life? I mean, that's not the right verbiage, but, I think that matters. Are you able to make your own decision? Do you have help with,
Hmm.
decision making,
Mm.
assisted, or whatever the proper verbiage is, the verbiage changes. So I just want to make sure we word that properly. But I think that matters, depending on their
Hmm.
situation, and as a parent, again, it's one of those things where, understanding the needs of the child, the young adult, and so on moving forward, hopefully everyone has their ducks in a row on things that very rarely ever happen. I think that's important, the verbiage around that, so you know exactly where the individual who's taking the survey is coming from, if they're able to
Yeah,
make their own decisions. I know I'm belaboring it a little bit, but I think we will need to have something around that guardianship verbiage in
I
some way.
agree. I agree. Yeah, asking
Mhm.
it as part of a demographic question, but
I think, I'm sorry, I had to step away for a minute, but I think that's a really good point, and I just would add the one sort of qualifier that it says legal guardian,
yes.
because a supportive decision maker is something different, right? Someone could be an
Yep.
independent, but could have someone that they rely on to
Hmm.
support them. So
Mhm.
also some people could have custodians, although I don't know that those folks would be necessarily responding to our,
Conservators. Yeah.
but
Hmm.
yes, exactly. Sorry, that's what I meant, not
Yep.
custodian. That's for
I know. Yeah.
you. Yes, thank you for catching it.
Okay.
Hmm. Might be good to ask the conservator question too. I know we always want to like be careful about making the survey too long, but I do think they're valid questions because those individuals are in charge of their money.
Right. Exactly. So do you mean like adding like under what is your age, number 3, um, do you um like something around like, please tell us about how you make decisions, and then like bullets of like, I make my own decisions, um, all on my own. I make decisions with the support of family and providers. My family makes my decisions for me. Like, would that?
I like that as what you just said as the respondent drop-down menu for number 4. Something to the effect of, do you make your own decisions? You could say, no, I have a legal guardian,
Mm,
or no, I have a conservator, or
yeah.
yes, with a supported decision-making plan, or yes, with the support of my friends and allies. And maybe we leave the verbiage about supported decision-making out of it just to not confuse people if they don't know what it is.
Yeah, I think that's a good thought. I
Okay, so do you?
wonder, sorry, just as we're talking about age, or someone mentioned age, earlier there was a response choice of under 18.
Hmm.
Are we expecting that there will be respondents to this who are teenagers?
Only to the extent we include transition-related stuff, but this is for housing, right? So
Yeah.
I think it's
Mm,
unlikely that we would even,
Yeah, and
mm,
I mean, do you mean transition from like the K-12 system?
yeah,
So they're not
yeah.
entering transition until they're at least
Yeah, I
18,
know.
right?
Yeah,
So
yeah. So
I don't know
probably,
if
I
it's
think it's less
necessary.
important. I don't think so either.
Yeah.
mhm.
I mean, the only thing, and again, I'm not trying to go down a rabbit hole. I'm just thinking of this population frame. So if we're thinking about, if the survey would ever go to people who are in facilities trying to move out, you
Mm.
know, and I don't know if that's really the population we're considering for this.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but I kind of think that isn't part of our, I don't
Yeah,
know, but
yeah.
I had
I
to
mean,
look.
it could be people transitioning from like foster care And
Hmm.
it could also be people leaving DCYF facilities.
Yes.
So to that extent, but we could do like a targeted, I don't even know how prevalent people with autism are in those situations. And maybe that could be a next step if we get a good respondent,
Yeah.
Hmm.
good sample.
Hmm.
But we have to remember those people because a lot of people forget about them.
Yes.
There definitely was an increase during COVID of
Hmm.
children with autism in the foster care system in Connecticut. So I don't
Right, but
know
yeah,
that,
those emancipating youth are definitely a population that there's not extensive services for after they get out of those situations. So we should revisit that topic.
I
Hmm.
just think for this particular thing, it may or not, we could, as you as you noted before, we could go down a rabbit hole because if in which
Hmm.
case someone is underage, they presumably have someone serving as a legal guardian or appointee of
Hmm.
some sort.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
um, this may or may not be appropriate for us uh,
Yeah.
to survey them. I don't know.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Instead of parents, I might say family members. There are some
Family
adults
members.
who, might have a sibling or
Hmm.
Trust
Hmm.
someone.
trusted ally, adult ally, or trusted.
I would also put um uh uh I think we need to explain it a little bit, like, but a provider, meaning like a therapist or a mentor or a life skills coach. I can see some of my clients answering that as well.
I think that is a nice way to do it. Terry, you just typed that in, right? Parenthetic
Hmm.
examples. I think giving people examples is helpful.
I think,
Hmm.
yeah, I think so too. So if we, whoops, wait a minute, trying to, I don't know what's happening here. I'm trying to, the whole thing gets highlighted if I try to click on it. I was going to put something under family member. Um, that said, yeah, community, s- yeah, community supports or community providers, and then in parentheses, mentor, life skills coach, therapist, BCBA, like something like that.
But they're informing. They're not. Yeah, it helps. I don't know if it belongs under. I make my own decisions with support from.
You mean take it out?
I wonder if we just keep. I make my own decisions and in brackets with support from. But it doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. I'm over. I'm too distracted to even make any recommendations at this second.
I can say I don't have a guardian or I make my own decisions. I don't have a guardian. If that's what you're trying to get at,
Mm,
because this is now turning into like a check all that apply. So if you want
We
it to be more simple, then I would just narrow it down to it's up to you. I'm just saying I would say like make it more of like yes, I make decisions with support or no, I'm um
Why don't we say choose only one?
I ma- I make my own decisions or I don't have. Do you have a guardian? Yes or no? You know
So,
what I mean? Like it's up to you guys, but I'm just
so I think the question itself of who helps you make decisions is a little too broad because someone could say like, I make my decisions, I make my own lunch, right? Or
Yeah,
I choose whatever. So
right.
I think it maybe is a more targeted question that's then followed by I make my own decisions about this we don't have to say about this matter, but I make my own decisions about um, housing. I have
Mm,
a trusted family member, friend, etc.
mm,
I have, so it's statements that are read from the person's perspective,
yes. Yes.
because I think this is outside of how folks normally think. Um, in responding to a question like that. So, and also
Mhm.
like it could get confusing if your parent is also your conservator or your sibling is. So how do I respond to that? You know what I mean? But if you say I do this independently without consulting anyone, I do this with some, support or assistance from another adult, and parenthetically we write parent, conservator, blah, 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 list a bunch of things. Unless we really want to know at sort of a granular level who is supporting them and if that person is a legal guardian or a conservator or a what, I mean, do we need to know that? I don't know. Maybe we do, maybe we don't.
I think we need to know the guardian and the conservator
Yeah.
question, and no legal guardian, no conservator.
Yeah.
I think who helps them make decisions in absence of having a legal guardian or a conservator is less important. Not that it's not important work, but we don't really need to know that. I don't
Yeah,
think.
I agree. I agree. So I think it could be like a simpler answer choices, like,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
And part of the reason I don't agree that we need it is because by making their own decisions, they're autonomous and they get whatever they get to help inform those decisions. I'm getting frustrated. I just deleted everything.
Okay.
Well, based on your response, I'm just saying like it goes back to just asking the question, do you have a legal guardian or conservatorship?
Correct.
Yes or no? And then we're not
Right.
getting into the nitty-gritty about who helps you make decisions.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then we're back to um what is preventing you from living in the community of your choice with the supports you need.
I still think a bullet that says ability to make my own exercise my choices or something is
I
still
said
relevant.
lack of support from a legal guardian or
Oh, thank you.
conservator.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see it. Yeah, perfect.
And then we have another if people want to say something like, I don't feel like I'm listened to, or because am thinking of folks that I might give the survey to who, you know what I mean? And then, so then there's an ability for people to write things in if they want to say something else.
Do you think the satisfaction question should go above what's I'm just wondering about the order. We're asking about what's preventing you from moving out and then asking about how satisfied they are with their housing. I just wonder if it should be the first question
Hmm,
of that section.
sure. Okay.
What's next?
Ladies, I am so sorry. I have to run into a work meeting right now, and I am really, really sorry. I know you guys are trying to pin all this down. I sometimes you just got to pay the bills and do the thing, so I do apologize that I have to leave a few minutes early.
No
But I hope
worries.
I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their day, and I look forward
All
to
right.
reading the minutes after this. All right.
Thanks, Christine.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
All
you.
right. Bye.
And then do we want an open-ended question? Please describe your biggest housing related concern. I mean, we
Mhm.
did say other under the what's preventing you from living. We said we've noted um I mean, I think number 4 lists concerns. And then we do have an other. I don't know if we need question 6. Or do we want to just allow space for people to say more if they want to say more?
I think they'll say more if they want to. Or do we want to, we could also have an open-ended question that it could be concern. It could also say, please describe the kind of help you need to be able to move out on your own, or not those
Mm-hmm.
exact words, but like what kind of help do you need to be able to live on your own in your own place or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's getting at what they think the agency is that they need to
Mm-hmm.
get it.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot. I have to go offline for a second.
Okay. I don't know if I think Toby said, what support do you need for um um I'm trying to think of how to phrase it. It's taking me a second. Um it was something like, what support do you need to to live on?
Maybe we ask what what their goal is for their housing. I mean, the people that respond to this are going to take it because housing is of interest to them,
Yep.
right? So if we say, describe the kind of housing you want, and give them a chance to describe it, and then a question that says
Mm.
to to fulfill that goal, what kind of help do you need?
I like that. Okay.
And then
Yeah.
we can get a sense of the range of types of, we'll have to code it in a way that, it'll be kind of like, it'll be interesting. There can be like little vignettes and case studies of situations, right? Of what they want and kind of
Mm-hmm.
help they
Mm-hmm.
need
Mm-hmm.
if they fill it out. Do other people like that idea, or
Yes.
I think it'd be nice to know what
Mm-hmm.
they want, and that might, if they think about what they want, then it'll be easier for them to potentially identify the kind of help they need to do that.
When it says describe your housing goals, would it be okay to say um describe housing that you want the most or something like that?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to keep it really
Yeah.
clear.
Yeah.
Um,
If you had the
right.
housing of your ideal housing situation, what
Mhm.
does it look like? Or what would it?
Yes, describe your ideal
Hmm.
housing situation and what support you would need. Yeah.
I think maybe what supports it would include.
Hmm.
It would include. Okay.
And we have
Okay.
supports questions later on too, right? So it's like a check off box. Or do we have
Mhm.
that in there? Or was that just my
Yeah, let's keep going here. Yeah. Okay.
supports and services? What types of supports are needed? That's in there,
I
which
think,
is good.
yeah, I think 7 is pretty straightforward,
Hmm.
unless anyone has any other. I think that's a pretty cut and dry. Um, and then what financial supports do you currently use or expect to use? I'm trying to think if there's anything else in number 7 or 8 that we need to, those seem, I
You
think,
could
pretty.
put, do you want to put like a trust or family? Like, would that be included in family
Hmm.
support?
Able account.
Yes,
I
some
don't think you could. Can you use an able account? I mean, you can use it
Yes.
for
yeah,
savings. Okay.
No,
yeah.
you can use it for
For
housing. It's
housing.
definitely, you can use it to buy the emotional support animal too. I'm
Hmm.
not saying everyone needs it. I'm just saying that there's a lot of things you can do with able accounts.
hmm hmm Yep. Okay. Okay. How important is subsidized housing to you? I think we have to describe what that means. That's
Can you put,
or I don't even know.
can you under able account, I know you meant this, but could you say special needs trust?
It may not be a special needs trust, depending on the situation.
True, could be pooled trust or could be a self-settled trust or a other trust.
Okay. So I think that question, if we want to include it, would say how important is it to you that you have financial support to live in your own place or something like that, like making it like very clear. Because subsidized housing, no one's going to understand what that means.
What if we say another way to go about it could be how likely is it you can afford to live on your own by yourself with your own income or, likely, very likely, unlikely. I don't know. It's another way to get at the question of the need for subsidy.
Yeah, right. Making it like,
I think that I think maybe an easier way is to define it up here at the top and say what subsidized housing is, and then ask what monthly housing costs would be affordable, because then we would need to know with or without subsidized housing,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Mm-hmm.
you could, because we have housing vouchers. So, I mean,
Yeah.
if we define that up here and what
Yeah.
subsidized housing means, um, then I think that then we can ask these questions.
Right. Like maybe say like what the average cost of a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment is, sort of thing. And then,
Well, I was thinking even just putting like a little subsection here, like saying subsidized housing is blah, blah, blah,
right.
blah, and defining
yes,
it, and
yes.
then asking the questions about just so that it's not misinterpreted on what housing vouchers are or what subsidized housing is.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And even adding a sentence that often takes a variety of different resources to make housing affordable. And that's what all these other things where they come into play too.
Like even I could even say like sometimes known as Section 8. Like I mean, you could
Yes,
just so
yes,
that people are familiar with what
right.
we're
Mm,
referring to. So I'll
I
look
agree.
that up.
Okay.
So knowing that that's going to be like the intro, then what monthly housing costs would be affordable? Do you want to say um if you had subsidized housing, or you don't, like
Yes.
how do you want to reword these questions meet to get to the information you want?
I'm sure there are other surveys we can pull out of online databases that help formulate these questions, at least around affordable housing and subsidized housing. I'm sure there are scales out there that would give us those answers. I can agree to look those up if we, just to see something like neighbor works America does all these national surveys for annual priority setting all the time. I'm sure they have stuff we can pull. So we don't have to, we can use questions that we know work already.
I think that would be really helpful because it's
Okay.
Hmm.
hard for me to wrap my
Okay.
brain around how to best phrase this.
Yep.
I
And it
know.
will, and for housing developers or affordable housing providers, it's going to be nice because their questions are probably using already,
Yeah, no, I
you
think that would
know?
be really
Hmm.
very smart idea.
Mm.
Okay.
So maybe return to this
Right.
question.
Okay. Okay. Then we're in housing preferences. Uh, what type of housing do you prefer? I think we'd have to define what larger supported housing community means.
Apartment complex,
Right. That's what I'm,
condo association,
yeah, apartment or condo.
that, and which is different. I see the difference in terms of what you're trying to make here about supported housing community. And I also think, and it may be in here somewhere already, but I also think we need to maybe even ask a separate question. Do you desire to live with other people with disabilities
Yeah. Yes.
or in, just a regular apartment setting?
Mm-hmm. And then I also think that that one also could have an other just to see, just to give somebody the space to write something that, again, maybe we're not thinking of or something like that.
Mhm.
Um,
So I also think in number 10, living alone and shared apartment roommate. And then how do I understand larger supported housing community like an apartment or condo?
right.
I want to
So
live independently and like that's confusing to me.
I no,
Hmm.
that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking the
Yeah.
same thing, Carrie. I'm trying to figure out, um,
Like I think what we're asking maybe and may or maybe we're not, but maybe this is part of the confusion is do folks want to have their own space but within a larger supported community, or do they want to have shared space in a smaller community, in a larger supported community, that sort of thing, like all the gradients of um, living alone, right? People could say they live alone because they live in a condo, but it's they live there independently and without, but they also could live with a roommate in a condo complex or something of that nature.
mhm,
There's a lot of different, and that's not necessarily supported housing. So I think we need to define that as well.
mhm.
And it's not at all supported housing as I was describing it, but
Do we want them to describe the geographic kind of like urban, suburban, rural at all? Or is that
Oh yeah.
I
like
think,
some people love the city, other people like
yeah,
the
Don't.
country, you know?
Right. Yes.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is an important
I
consideration.
do too.
And I think we had only maybe talked about that with respect to access to resources like transportation
Yep.
and, community services or connections, but those can be rich in suburban communities in some ways as well, and maybe not the
Mm-hmm.
transportation piece, but other community connections.
Do you want that in the original demographic up at the top? Like, what environment do you currently live in? And then what environment do you desire to live in? Or do you just want
That's a good idea. Let's see how long
what
the survey gets, but
about you? What um
geographic,
yeah.
um, what geographic area do you live in? Something like that. We'll get the language down, right?
We have to go to New Jersey and like scoop water out of
Why am I blanking on what word to use? I want to use demographic, but the what environment?
Geographic,
Geographic.
geographic. Yeah, I know. I'm going on vacation next week, and I'm like so ready for
You're
it. My
ready.
brain is like all
Yeah.
over the place.
So where are you typing that into? Oh, there you are. Okay. I was just trying to find you in the survey. Okay, I see. Yes. Um, we may want to define rural, urban, and suburban. Like rural, like we might want to say like out in the country, urban, a city, suburban, I'm trying to think of how to define suburbs.
Small town. Well, it's not
Small
really.
town.
That's not really. Yeah, it's not really suburban, right?
I can work on adding those in. Just noting
Okay.
it's at 12.
Yeah.
It's 12 o'clock now.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have another
All right.
meeting too. I gotta go.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. So our next meeting will be the 14th, July 14th at 11 a.m.
Good.
Um,
And
Let me look at
then
that.
we can keep going through and discussing the
Yep, I have
question.
that. Okay.
Okay. I also am hoping to connect with someone who is starting a large, I don't have any definition of what it is, but a large housing community in the West Palm Beach area in Florida. My neighbor is looking to connect me with her to find out how they got it off the ground, what they did, that kind of a thing. So um when I can make that connection, I just for information purposes, I'll gather that information.
And
Excellent.
I will, before our next meeting, I will make an effort to get the draft of this survey in the software and I'll share it with you so we can like test it as users. And I'll
Okay,
include, and what I'll do is I'll add some text boxes underneath so you can put your comments in as a tester
Okay.
about the question if you want. I
All
don't think
right.
it's premature to do that. I think it will help us visualize it and also get a sense of length and time that it takes to do it.
And
okay.
it can still be modified, so I don't think that that's in any way hurtful. Only
Okay.
helpful. Thank
Exactly.
you.
Yeah.
All right.
Did you talk? I know we have to go, but was there any discussion about the IRB, Carrie?
Oh, you know what? I know I owe you an
Okay.
email note. We did not discuss that.
Okay. Okay. All right.
I will respond to you via
Great.
email.
Sounds
Sorry.
good. That's okay. Take
Okay.
All
care.
right.
Bye,
Thank you.
Enjoy your
everybody.
vacation, Toby.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
Take care.
Thanks.
I'm
Bye.
jealous.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Bye, everyone.